Yo guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Sorry, I'm just gonna move my mic here. Okay, cool. So today we are just gonna continue with the modeling part of making the foxhole, and I'm gonna show you guys a few tricks that I think you would like, especially when trying to make it as real and natural as possible. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna see what the time says, and if the time allows it, we're gonna start setting it up for we've already set it up here. Oh no, never mind. So we're gonna set it up for exporting it into Infusion, and then what we're gonna do from there is check the time again, and if the time allows it, I would love to show you guys a quick test that you can do in there. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna keep the video I'm gonna try my very best, guys, to keep the video short as possible, but these Blender ones have a tendency of getting a little bit longer than usual, or yeah, than usual. All right, guys, let's get straight into it. So first of all, what you want to do is load up the old trench or foxhole that you've started in the previous video. So I've just loaded it in. I'm going to turn on my screencast keys, press a few buttons. Cool, you guys can see it, and it's nice and big. So firstly, last time we started playing around with the proportional editing tool. Now this is a good way of doing it, and I do sometimes use it to add some realism to it. That's why it's not working. It wasn't activated. To add some naturalness to it, some realism, and yeah, just to start playing around with it. Now, in certain areas like this, you can see that we've just got, so we scroll in and move it in like this. And I'm assuming since the last video you guys probably played around with this. Now what we are trying to avoid is these sharp edges. Now in game you're most likely going to see that due to the texture, the ground texture that we're going to be using. So you want to try and avoid those sharp edges as much as possible. Another way that you can use do it is by alt selecting, loop select, control B to bevel, and then duplicate or beveling that edge and turning it into one slice or two slices or three slices, depending on how smooth you want that. And that's something I used in my trenches, in my trench mod, to smooth out the edges. So if I've got, for example, right here, even this little circle, I just go and smooth it out, and now it's a lot smoother. Yes, you do add geometry, but you don't have as much geometry as you would have when, now you need to be careful of this, but you won't have as much geometry as you would have if you were to sculpt. Now best way to do this is just pressing double G. Now it says 4 times, but I just double tap G and then move that back and start observing. Okay, yes, we do have a very sharp line over here. Now we do want to get rid of, so pressing that, loop selecting these. Now any questions, please make sure to pop them in the description. Either myself or a very helpful viewer will be able to answer you, because we have had a few very knowledgeable guys come in and be like, oh, this is a better way to do it, and so on. And I do appreciate you guys if you do. Those knowledgeable guys that come in and show other people better ways of doing things, or more effective ways of doing things. That is what we strive for, is a community that helps each other. So there we go. So I'm not going to continue with this. This can take quite a while. Another cool thing that you can do is you can take it into the sculpting mode. Now, for most of you guys, this will be brand spanking new. You'll start off with these, with this brush right here, the draw brush. Now, what I want to pull your attention to is don't worry too much about these brushes on the side here. All that you want to know is grab, and I'll show you guys smooth. So smooth is a tool, and you press F to increase the size. Smooth is just smoothing out those edges, right? So you click on those and then smooth out those edges. Just a little click. All I'm doing is clicking. I'm not dragging or nothing. I'm just clicking. Click, click, click. And this makes it nice and smooth, you know? But not too smooth. Because you don't want to be dragging like this, because as you can see. Another cool one is definitely draw. So you can draw and it will lift the terrain. If you hold down shift, it will smooth it. If you come up here and press the minus, it will actually go in and you will draw into the ground instead of drawing out of the ground, okay? That's pretty cool. Then you've got draw sharp as well. Now this is for if you've got very high poly counts. So it will draw very sharp, deep cuts. And this is if you want to go into detail and start drawing out some, like, I don't know, some what's the word? When you dig and then you dig in a little deeper on the side and it leaves a little groove. There we go. We've got grooves. If you want to start doing grooves. And lastly, guys, you've got the grab tool. Now this is probably the most important one that I want to cover. The rest is just like just a little bit bonus tips, you could say. So what you want to do here is, it's very much like the proportional editing tool. It's just a little bit better, in my opinion. So all you do is you'll see the little dot hopping from vertice to vertice in the, if you go to wireframe mode, you'll see that it hops from vertice to vertice, and anything without that vertice within this yellow circle will be moved. Very much like the proportional editing tool. Now you can use both. I personally prefer this way a lot better. I find it quicker and a little bit easier to manage. So you can go in, do this, do that very nicely, make it a nice hole. And of course, I'm obviously not going to be spending too much time on this. This is literally just a video to show you guys the basics of each tool and so on. But if I was to be asked to make one of these, or if I was making one for my map, I'd obviously spend as much time on the details as possible. The reason why I say try and don't rush it is, even if you're just a player and you don't know, how to use the software, players can see not cheap, but rushed things, and you don't want to be putting out 2004 graphics or something like that. You want to be putting out the best you can be putting out, so always think of that. Try and put out the best you can, because people do admire it when a modder goes all out. So yeah, that's my little advice for the day. So what we're now going to do is we're gonna, as the time does allow it, we're gonna start setting up the model and then exporting it into Infusion. Now firstly, I've got to open up Infusion, because that's the first thing that you want to do is open up Infusion. So opening up Infusion, I'm going to open up my West Ajivka map. And we are going to go into the conflict, and then we'll see. We'll get a little position, and then I will start setting up in... Actually, we don't even have to. I'm just going to wait for this. Cool. Now, you don't have to open a map for the thing to work. All you have to do is just have this open, and it should be working. Interesting. So what you want to do first is you want to right click in the gray area right here where my mouse is. Right click, new collection, and we're going to call this collection, double click on the collection, and we're going to call the collection Foxhole. Foxhole _1. Now, labeling your things in Blender is very, very important. It keeps you organized, and it makes it easier to search things up. For example, if you've got a huge project going with multiple, let's say a car or a vehicle or a tank or whatever, and you've got multiple objects in the scene, you want to label those correctly so that you can come up to the search bar and say Foxhole. Boom, easy find. Or wheel or whatever you want, so that it's easier for you to find something and change it instead of going around and clicking on things, you know? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the Foxhole. Boom, take this, take that. Foxhole 01. Now, this is the one that I made previously. So I'm gonna take this D, and I'm gonna move it on this way, that way. Okay. Cool. Now we're going to go and take this one. Actually, move this one in there. Okay. Take this one that we just created. Now you guys shouldn't have this issue. This is just me mucking around with the other one that I made. But now you should have the Foxhole _1, right? Then you should have the cylinder that we edited. Double check, Control A, all transforms. Now we want to double check that this object knows that it's been edited, okay? That's all that little window does. Cylinder. We'll click on cylinder and call it Foxhole 1 _ LOD 0. Cool. Now, if you don't know what a LOD is, I've got a video on that, so you can just go and double check on that. But it's essentially at what distance this object is being rendered at, and at what quality it's being rendered at what distance. Basically, I hope I explained that correctly, or understandably. Anyway, we've got this. Now we want to quickly double check vertices, faces 1826. This is our LOD 1. Now Shift D to duplicate, right? And right click. Cool. Go to Modifiers tab. And we're gonna take this one away. Why is this here? Oh. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna leave this on there. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. One second, guys, sorry. Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. This shouldn't be an issue. But, yeah. Anyway, What we want to do is we want to come up here, rename, press 1. Sorry, I got distracted for some reason. Add modifiers, come here to generate, and then what we want to do is come here to decimate. Now decimate takes down the amount of vertices within the object. So ratio over here is going to be 0.8. And you'll already see that it's starting to cut through the high quality model. And that is a good thing, right? Basically at the LOD, we're going to add another LOD. And this LOD, and down here, okay, let me finish my sentence. I've got so many things in my head at the moment. In the next LOD, it's going to be LOD 2, and that's going to be a lot less quality than this one that we've got right here. So, dragging your attention to the face count down here. Bear in mind, this previous one was 1,826. This one is now 1,600. So we can actually decrease that amount to 0.5, right? Now it's 1,200, and that's perfect. That's perfect. And then we're gonna go and duplicate this and call it LOD2. Not 12. Goodness gracious. And then we want to go and maybe 0.25. Get in that 731 vertices. That's perfect. So basically, you're loading in a very, very, very low quality version of what this model is. You can even go lower than that and go to 0.10. And load in like 300 vertices. Me personally, I'm just gonna go and 0.20, and that should be perfect. That should be perfect. Remember to save. Get into the habit of continuously saving. I know it's Blender and it's very stable, but I have had situations where I haven't saved in ages, and it just drops me, and I lost quite a bit of my hours on there. So remember, get into the habit of just Control S. And then lastly, Control B to duplicate. So at the end of the day, you want 4 of these, and this last foxhole is going to be called, take this away, and be called UTM underscore foxhole. Okay. Now UTM is a complex collider. Okay. So you get different types of colliders. The one that I use every single time is a UTM. The reason is that I only work with goodness. Oh my word, I completely forgot the word. Complex colliders. Okay, there we go. So I only use complex colliders because I've worked with trenches, and I worked with houses, and I work with these foxholes now. So yeah, I would recommend using those ones. And now what we want to do is click on the UTM, go to the Infusion tools, and then what we want to do now is when we shoot into this into the collider, we want some dirt spitting up, and we want some we basically want to tell the Infusion engine what material this foxhole represents, and that's where we're going to do this. We're going to click on the collider setup, none. We're going to change none. Now, as you can see here, you've got a lot of options for anything you want to make. So I've had guys making armor. You've got dirt, which we're going to use. Then you've got grass, if you wanted to shoot up grass particles, metal, paper, sand, titanium, tile roofs. You got basically anything that is in the game at the moment, even snow, which isn't in the game. So there we go. We want dirt. And layer preset, I always, if it's in the ground, I set it to terrain. If it's a building, you set it to building, and so on and so forth. I think you guys can get the gist of it. Ladder, mine trigger, door, weapon. Fire geo is set for clothing. I know that much. So yeah, we're gonna set terrain. Click OK, and you should see. Come on now. Yeah, you should see the colors changing from white to pink. That just basically tells you that. Oh my goodness! It basically my brain is running out. It basically tells you that you've changed the collider, and now your model is set up, guys. It's perfectly set up. What you also can do, if you wanted to, you can decrease the face count on the collider to a lot less. But I'm gonna keep it like this because it's already very, very small. I might just go 1.5 like this. But you need to be careful, as you don't want too much clipping during within the complex shape. Okay. So we're gonna leave it at this. 473 vertices. What we want to do now is we want to select just the voxel. Just make sure you select the voxel. Press S, Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then Shift S, selection to cursor. Okay. Just to make sure that everything is at the center of the map. Now where your cursor is where you are going to, where your, I'm lying, where the middle of the middle of the world center is. Oh my goodness, where this world, where the world center is, that is where your gizmo is going to be. I got it out, guys. So now we're going to export it. File, export, FBX. Okay, now I've set it to a shortcut. The way you do it is right click and change shortcut or set shortcut. So I've set it to Control E, as I do export a lot and I wanted to get it out as fast as possible. What we're going to select here is we're going to select the area we want to export to. So I'm just going to select the Blender file, voxel.fbx, select selected objects, this box, empty, holding down Shift, armature, mesh, other, custom objects, add leaf bone, and unchecked animation. Cool, now we're good. Export. Okay. This is the first test. Okay, I've got 7 more minutes and then I need to wrap this up. So Control S, going into Infusion. We're going to come over to custom models. I would always recommend you guys to make a custom model folder. Cool. Drag it over here and we're going to go to this one. Boom. And oh my goodness, where is my stuff? Here, and we're gonna go to train. I would not train. Voxel. There we go. It should be a FBX file that you've got right here. Okay, guys. Open, and voila, you've got it right there. If it comes up with a pop-up, just say import as model. Okay, you're not importing an animation, you're importing a model. And this is where you open up your map. So what we're gonna do is, just for a decrease the speed, just for a test, we're gonna come in here, boom, come to custom models, voxel, drag this one in here. Now it's gonna be white, guys. What you want to do is you want to add a texture to this. So first of all, Control T, terrain texture. We're going to make it the same as the terrain. So dirt 1. Start drawing around here, or painting around here. Just make this like so. And then what we want to do is Control S, save. Remember to save. In Infusion, it's a lot less unstable than it was, but it's still unstable. So just be careful. Continuously save. Get used to that. Then we want to go to up here in the resource browser, Armor Forger. Beautiful. Now we want to find the embankments. Drag and drop any embankment. I'd recommend these ones with the grass. These ones. Actually, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Go to Object Properties. Mesh Object. Over here, Eroded Embankment Dirt. 01 Dirt Terrain. That's what we want to add to this area, because this is what this green material gives. Well, the top of the embankment, this the inheritance material. I just call it personally the inheritance material. So click on the little icon, magnifying icon. It takes you to exactly where it is, and it will have a little blue outline on it. Right click on it and then go to duplicate to your object. Now I have already got it duplicated. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click duplicate. It will duplicate it to your object, to your properties in common materials, and that is what it will be called, common materials and so on, and then it would be right there. Now I have personally moved it to my trench system right here. So what you're going to do is select your model, mesh object, and then drag and drop the inheritance material to your object's material. Voila. Okay, that's perfect. Now I don't think we covered yes, we didn't cover UV unwrapping. Now I will cover that in the next video, show you guys a little bit of UV unwrapping. For some reason it looks alright, but I will cover on UV unwrapping because it is an important topic. So want to drag your foxhole into the ground like so, and take the terrain tool, Control T, sculpt, make it as small as possible, and decrease into the ground. Now as we can see, the foxhole is a little bit too small. On the smallest, the radius is exactly the same size as the foxhole. So what we want is to increase the sides of the foxhole to maybe another meter or a 1.5 or even 2 meters to hide this deformation going on down here. But already we can see it's looking quite nice actually already. And now what we want to do to prevent our character from falling straight through this foxhole is we want to right click, add component. We're going to say rigid body. Goodness, it feels like I'm speaking so fast today. If I am speaking way too fast, I'm so really sorry about that, guys. So Control S. Then what we're going to do is go to play mode. Now we're going to test this out, see what it's like in now I don't have a I don't know how to set the what's it called, settings, play around with the settings, but we can see we're walking on, fell in. Okay, we can't set our rifles to be hooked on there. So let's have a look. Okay, there we go. And we've just got just about our heads popping out. Beautiful. All right. And if we have a seat, can we have a seat? And what do we look like when we do that? We're almost completely covered. Beautiful. Oh my word. Damn. So what we can do is we can probably go back into Blender. If you do like, and we can mantle out. That is the most important part. Do we lag on anything? Negative. That is beautiful. Okay. So, going back into Blender, next video, what we are going to cover is we're going to cover the, we're going to increase the size of the voxel to hide the deformation in Infusion. Then we might actually increase. Actually, I'm going to leave it the same size because it is a nice little size. And maybe take the bottom down by just maybe 20 or 10 centimeters down. Just to give the soldier, just to make his head pop out and the front of his barrel. As we could see there, a little bit of his torso was peeking out. So we're going to do that. We're going to cover UV unwrapping. As we can see down here, when I go down here, we can see that it is stretching. So as we're not going to see the bottom of it, it really doesn't matter too much, but I would like to show you guys a little bit of UV unwrapping. And yeah, that would be covered in the next video. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. We've hit the half an hour mark, actually half an hour and 1 minute. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it was educational and you guys learned something and I didn't talk too much. So please like, subscribe, and comment if you've got any questions. And also join the Discord community. We've hit 400 subscribers 2 days ago. It's not 400 subscribers, but 400 members in the Discord. And yeah, amazing things. And we've hit 500 subscribers on the channel. I want to thank every single one of you. I'm going to release a small little video about it, but just now I want to say thank you so much for every single one of you coming with me on this journey in making Arma and the community around it as amazing as possible. And I am hoping we can take this even further in the future. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and have a fantastic evening or day. See y'all later.